Listen, if you want your clients to be raving fans for your business, to refer their friends and their biz bestie and keep them coming back for more, you need to give them an unforgettable client experience. Today, I'm going to be breaking down my signature framework for how you can give your clients a 5-star client experience. So, like the video while the intro plays. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Ebony Yvonne, your go-to business operations strategist, here to help you grow your business through people and processes. Today, we are talking all about client management, and I want to get into how you could create a 5-star client experience so that your clients feel supported and seen. And the reason why I wanted to do this is because if you know anything about me, I do not like transactional businesses where it's all about the transaction and just making money online and your clients don't get any benefit, right? I believe that a good business has a mutually beneficial relationship with your clients. That means, yes, you make money, but your clients also get the solutions to their problem. You enhance their quality of life. So it is a win-win situation. If you're the only person that wins and your clients are left hanging out to dry, then my friends, that is what we call a cash grab, okay? Now, in today's video, I want to actually walk you through how I approach creating a 5-star client experience for every stage of the customer journey when someone comes in contact with my brand. And hopefully this will help you to create your own 5-star client experience as well. So right now, I feel like customer service, when it comes to entrepreneurs, especially online service providers, customer service is at an all-time low. Like, I don't know how many times I've hired freelancers who lack just basic customer service skills as far as being able to effectively communicate, keeping up with deadlines, and just, you know, giving me a good client experience, a good user experience. And this is something that not only do I run across when I'm hiring freelancers for my business, but a lot of my clients as well. When I do audits and things like that, and I go through my clients' process as far as the onboarding for a coaching program or for their course, a lot of it is just kind of like, okay, I got your money. Now you go on out there into the world, and they kind of leave them to fend for themselves. But when you don't provide a good client experience, this is going to lead to a lot of attrition in your business, especially if you have like a coaching membership or if you have products to where you have a product lining system, and customers should be able to go along the customer journey from like a low ticket offer to a mid ticket to a high ticket. If that low ticket offer is not good, they don't have a good client experience, they're not going to continue on in your funnel, okay? So if you want to be successful, I tell people you should invest more in making sure that you have good client retention than focusing on lead generation. If you have to constantly generate new leads for your business, this is why a lot of entrepreneurs, especially women entrepreneurs, get burnt out and get frustrated, because you're constantly having to get new clients instead of being able to continuously serve the ones that you have. And the root of that is in your clients having a good experience with you and your brand, okay? So let me go ahead and get into how you can actually create a 5-star unforgettable client experience for your clients. And the best way for me to explain this is for me to walk you through my actual process for how I make sure that I'm creating a 5-star client experience at every touch point within my business. So first things first, I like to start with just mapping out a high level customer experience or customer journey for how people come in contact with my business, and then their customer journey, not only just purchasing one product, but the entire life cycle or that relationship with a client. So there are different methods that you can use to map out your customer journey. One of the popular ones that I used to use all the time, I use with a lot of my clients, is AIDA. AIDA is basically AIDA. This is attention, interest, decision, and then action. So I've actually modified this to create my own customer journey, which is a 5-step process instead of 4. And the steps within my customer journey are attract, engage, convert, deliver, and delight. And I'm going to break down each one of these. So at a high level, my customer journey is those 5 stages, right? And so at every one of those touch points, I've created a framework for how to create a 5-star client experience. And basically what I do is I use what I call the see, feel, do method. So at every stage of the customer journey, I want to map out and outline what is it that I want my client to see? What do they feel when they see what they see? And what do they do once they feel and see whatever it is that they see, right? I know this is probably like, girl, what are you talking about? But I'm going to actually give you a example of how I do this with my CEO days. And then as we go through, you can kind of map out your own process. Again, I created the framework so that I use attract, engage, convert, deliver, and delight. But if you want to use AIDA or another framework, feel free to do that. Let's get into the customer journey and exactly what you can do at every stage to make sure that you give your clients a 5-star, unforgettable experience that keeps them coming back for more for a lifetime. Okay, so the first stage in the customer journey is going to be attract. This is exactly what it sounds like. It is all about client attraction. It is about building brand awareness. It is about discovery. This is how your prospective clients are actually introduced to your brand. This is literally the beginning of their journey way before they pay you anything. And honestly, this stage matters a lot more than most people think. You've probably heard people say time after time again, first impressions are lasting impressions. And that is true even when it comes to your brand. So you want to make sure that you're giving people a good first experience when they come in contact with your brand. So how I actually ensure that I'm creating a 5-star client experience is at every stage I do my framework as far as see, feel, do. And this outlines what is it that I want my ideal client to see? What is it that I want them to feel? What are they feeling? What do I want them to feel? And then what do I want them to do in order to get to the next stage within the customer journey? So, for example, I offer this CEO day, which is basically a VIP day that helps solopreneurs who want to transition into CEOs to actually build out a roadmap for how to scale within 12 months. I audit their systems, identify profit leaks, bottlenecks, and then we build out a plan for what systems, what team members they need in order to actually grow and scale their business sustainably, right? And so with my CEO days, I have an ideal client avatar. I call her collaborative Cameron. And basically, Cameron is someone who used to be a DIYer, but now she's generating more revenue in her business. It's not always consistent, but it's enough to where she can invest in growing her business through systems, through new processes, hiring team members. And so, what I want to do at this attract stage is I want to create content that Corman will see that's going to help her get her into the customer journey and my sales funnels, but also take action to get to the next level. So, what does she see at this level? Most likely, she's going to come in contact with maybe a YouTube video, a blog post, or quiz that speaks calmly, strategically, and cuts through the noise that she's typically used to hearing. So, for example, I have a lead magnet that is a scale readiness quiz that helps solopreneurs identify if their business is really ready to scale. A lot of people talk about scaling when they're still actually in the early stages of development, right? And so with this quiz, I allow quiz takers to assess where they are in their business, what bottlenecks are keeping them from actually scaling, and then I give them action steps that they need to follow in order to get to the next stage. And so within this quiz lead magnet, I give them a skill readiness report. I actually have a call to action that will say, hey, if you want help applying these next steps, then apply for a CEO day with me. So what Cameron actually sees is this skill readiness quiz. She takes this quiz and it lets her know exactly where she is in her business, what she needs to do to get to the next level. And when she comes across this quiz and my brand presence, what I want her to feel is like a breath of fresh air, okay? I want her introduction to me and my brand to give her hope, to think that finally this is someone who can help me breathe a new life into my business, get to the next level without doing all the things. So as she's introduced to this scale readiness quiz, she's probably frustrated, overwhelmed, burnt out from doing all the things, wearing all the hats. She's probably filled with a little bit of curiosity. And if she's been burned by coaches or other entrepreneurs in the past, she may be a little bit cautious and have a little bit of skepticism also about working with someone else, right? So that is what she is currently feeling. But what I want her to feel is hopeful. And I want her to feel like I am the person that can help her to get over all these obstacles and roadblocks and start actually scaling her business and doing it with ease, with structure, with systems, so that it's sustainable and not overwhelming. So now that Cameron is in this attract stage and she's feeling a little bit cautious, but she's also curious and hopeful, what I want her to do is actually just take the quiz to see where she is in her business. That's all I want her to do at this point, is take the quiz so she can find out exactly where she is, where she stands when it comes to being ready to scale. Now, this is going to take us into stage 2, which is engage. And this stage of the customer journey is exactly what it sounds like. Again, it is all about the engagement. This is building a connection, and this is where you actually build trust. A lot of people refer to this as know, like, and trust factor, right? You have that brand awareness. Your ideal client knows that, okay, you exist, you're on their radar, and now it's time to go into the consideration stage for if they actually want to buy your products or services. So in the attract stage, we left off with the action we want her to do is to just take the scale readiness quiz. So now that we're in stage 2, what she sees is a beautifully designed skill readiness report that's delivered straight to her inbox. This report is detailed, specific. It breaks down her scaling roadblocks and it points her to real actionable steps that she can take to get to the next level from where she is right now. And so one thing that I say this in a lot of videos, but a lot of people will create lead magnets just to get a lead and to get people in their funnel. But it doesn't matter how many people you get in your funnel if they're not having a good experience with your brand. So if you look at your lead magnets and you see that people, you get a lot of opt-ins, but as soon as people opt in, they're unsubscribing and they're bouncing, that is a good indicator that your lead magnets are trash, okay? Even if it's a lead magnet or a low ticket offer, it needs to be so good that people feel like they would have paid money for it, right? So with my skill readiness quiz, this isn't just a quiz and then I get people in my funnel and then say, hey, buy this. I actually give them a detailed report that gives them clear, okay, this is what's holding you back from getting to the next level. These are the action steps that you need to take in order to get to the next level. So because my ideal client sees this beautifully designed, detailed scale readiness report, what she's feeling is empowered, validated, and she doesn't feel like she's just a number on the list. She has went from being cautious and hopeful to starting to feel like, okay, like Ebony is somebody that I can work with. Like she's taking my potential serious, so I'm taking my potential serious. And this is literally someone who can help me get to where I want to be and do it in a way that's going to be sustainable and unique to me. Now, once she's engaged with this quiz, she's feeling empowered. That curiosity and the hesitation that she had, that is starting to diminish and go away, and she's confident that I am the person that can help her. So at this stage, what I want her to now do is to follow the call to action that's inside of that skill readiness report, which is to actually apply for a CEO day for me. So what I want her to do is to fill out the application. So this is going to take us into stage 3, which is where you actually convert. So at the convert stage, this is typically what would be considered like the decision stage if you're using like the AIDA method or AIDA framework as far as building your customer journey. But this is where your ideal client, prospective clients actually make a decision of whether or not they want to work with you and continue on within your customer journey. So for my ideal client in this example, for my CEO days, they have taken the scale readiness quiz. They have gotten their scale readiness report. They're picking up what I'm putting down. They feel like I'm the perfect person who can help them. And what she sees is a streamlined application process. It's warm, it's welcoming, it has clear next steps and beautiful branding and a calm confidence at every single touch point. This is whether it's the application page or the form itself, whether it is the confirmation email, just letting them know, hey, we received your application, we're reviewing it, we have clear communication on what steps are to follow, what's going to happen next. And because this is what she sees, what she's now feeling is relieved and reassured. All right. This is just confirming I made the right decision. This is who I want to work with. She may still be a little bit nervous about investing, but the process feels so aligned and professional to her that she's willing to lean in, bet on herself, and bet on me that I can help her get to the next level and help her build a roadmap that will help her scale with ease. So what I want her to do at this stage is really going to depend on the application process. So obviously, if we vet the application and we feel like it's not a good fit, we're going to decline to move forward. If we feel like it's a good fit, their application is approved, then we're going to move them forward in the application process. And this is where they can actually sign up to work with me. They get an opportunity to enroll, complete a transaction, and then begin the working relationship. So, what she does is she accepts her approved application. She gets a notification that she can now sign up for the program. So she's going to go pay the invoice and she's going to book a date for her scoping call and start completing the onboarding checklist, right? So this is going to take us to stage 4 in the customer journey. Now, with stage 4 of the customer journey, this is where most people just kind of forget that there's still a customer journey that needs to be done. Most people stop once they get that transaction. They're like, I got paid, I got a sale, I just made 2K, 5K, however much money from this client signing up for me. They get excited about the sale and they think that that's it. That is not it. Once you actually get a sale as a service provider, this is where you really want to make sure that you over deliver and under promise so that you can wow your clients, right? The delivery experience for your clients is very important. If they do not have a good experience, they are not going to refer their friends. They're not going to give you a testimonial. They're not going to want to work with you again. So, stage 4 is deliver. This is you delivering what you promised, going above and beyond to make sure your clients have a good client experience. If you're selling a digital product, this is making sure, if possible, that you automate the delivery of it. People don't have to wait over the weekend for you to send them a link to download a Canva template, right? That should be automated to where they get it instantly. If you are providing a service, you want to have a clear onboarding process. Even if you have a membership or you have a coaching program, students should not enroll in your program and then be like all excited and then like, okay, like, what do I do next, and confused. You want to make sure that there's clear communication and they know exactly what's happening next, what they need to do next, and what you're doing next at every step of the process. So you want to make sure that you show up ready and that she shows up empowered so that you can deliver that work, okay? Now, going back to my example of the CEO day, with my ideal client, Cameron, what she sees is a beautifully designed client portal that has a CEO day agenda, branded visuals, and everything feels like it was exclusively designed just for her. Okay. Even if it's a template that we use with all our clients, she feels like it is unique and it was designed for her, unique to her, with her in mind. Because this is what she sees, what she feels is, number one, like, yes, I made the right decision, right? But she also feels supported and safe, and like she can finally have the space to be the visionary and the CEO in her business that she's always promised herself is possible. And because of that, there's no buyer's remorse, right? So what she does is she doesn't second guess whether or not she should ask for a refund. She shows up fully prepared, engaged, ready for her CEO day. She's taking notes. She has a charged laptop. She participates deeply, giving feedback whenever we're engaged during the CEO day. She leaves the experience with clarity, confidence, and a game plan for what she needs to do next, right? She leaves there feeling confident about the direction her business is going in. I feel like I'm being a little dramatic, but this is literally the process that I go through whenever I'm mapping out a new client experience. I'm gonna go through, what does she see? What is she feeling? What do I want her to feel? And what do I want her to do at every single stage? All right. So now that we have delivered an amazing client experience, we gave them what they asked for. This is going to take us into stage 5. This is another stage that most people drop the ball in, and this is what I call the delight stage. And this is where you really deepen your relationship. This is where lifelong clients are made. This is where raving fans are made. This is how you get repeat customers. This is how you get amazing testimonials. And this is how you get amazing client referrals, okay? And so in the delight stage, this is about wowing your clients and just going above and beyond. So what, like I said earlier with stage 3, convert, most people stop once that transaction clears, right? But you still have to make sure that you deliver on the offer. Whatever it is that you promise people, you want to make sure that you deliver. Now, you could just go on about your business and be like, I gave the girls what they asked for. Now it's time for me to go try to get me another client. In the delight stage, this is where you really go the extra mile to make sure you create a space to where you can get those testimonials, you can get referrals. And instead of waiting for it to happen by chance, you curate the environment that makes it possible. So at this stage for my CEO day experience, after the CEO day is over, I'm not just like, okay, girl, you got your 12-month roadmap, like, you're good. I will follow up and I will ask, hey, how's it going? Do you have any questions? I make sure that I support them so they feel empowered even after the CEO day is over. So she receives wrap up materials, any assets we created during our actual CEO day. I'm going to make sure that she has access to those. I'm going to follow up. And then I'm going to have an offboarding process that includes steps for what I want them to do. Just like I had a client onboarding process for how to get started with next steps that are clear, I'm going to have an offboarding process that is clear with next steps of what they need to do so that we can wrap up our project. So in my, which I'm going to do a separate video about this, it'll probably be a couple videos from now, but in my offboarding process, this is 4 steps. The first step, I tell them download your files. And then also step 2 in that process is I tell them submit a testimonial, share your experience with us, good or bad. Let us know what you think. Once they share their client experience, the next step in the offboarding process is for them to submit client referrals. If you know someone who's also struggling with scaling, they need systems in their business, they want to streamline their processes, send them our way. And then last but not least is I tell them to stay connected. If it makes sense, then I will try to upsell them into my actual operational services or either my operational consulting services if they're ready for that. And then I make sure that I outline what I want them to do. So at the delight stage, what she sees is a thoughtful thank you message, a clean, clear offboarding process, a recap of what we accomplished during the CEO day, a testimonial invitation, and access to exclusive client perks, future offers, discounts, and all that is inside of my CEO circle, right? And so what she feels is appreciated, respected, again, empowered, and not like she was just closed, like the project is over and that's it. But she feels like she was deeply cared for and she would love to continue working with me. In fact, when I work with private clients, 2 of the best things that I love for clients to say, I'm going to say it. 2 things that I love for clients to tell me is number 1, they'll be like, I don't know what it is. It was just something about your energy. Like, I just had to work with you, right? And the second thing that I love for clients to say after they've worked with me on one project is, oh my gosh, I can't believe this project is over. Like, I want to keep working with you. Like, I don't want this to be the end. And when you create a 5-star unforgettable client experience, you will have your clients saying these things too. They will feel like you empowered them, you supported them so much. They do not want this relationship to end. And not only do they not want it to end, they want their friends to have the same experience. So they become walking billboards and free word of mouth marketing for you. All right. So, what I want her to do at this stage is to provide a glowing testimonial about her experience, about how amazing it was. I want her to go tell her friends about it, refer other clients to me who may be in a similar situation. And if it makes sense, I also want her to purchase other services that are going to be in alignment with her journey and where she's headed next. So again, when it comes to your customer journey, most people think of it just as like a sales funnel of, okay, I'm going to have this freebie and I want people to buy this low ticket digital product. And when they buy that digital product, I want them to join my coaching program or whatever. But you can also think beyond that. So for me, even within my services, I have my services structured to where my customer journey, my clients should naturally progress to my next service offer. So typically people enter into my services with a CEO day. And this is just like a 1-day session where we map out a 12-month roadmap for what they need to scale and get to the next level. And from that CEO day, typically those clients will hire me as a business operations manager, and we'll work on implementing tech systems, workflows, and processes, automations, so that their business relies on systems, and they're growing a team. So they're no longer just operating as a solopreneur, but now they have these systems and teams that's kind of supporting their business and their mission. And then once we do the operational support thing, then naturally, by the time they finish that, then they're ready for my fractional COO consulting. And this is where we just meet weekly or monthly. And it's more of like strategizing, looking at numbers so that we're making strategic business decisions for what needs to happen next. So, when done right, your customers, if they come to you, they're DIYers, they're just like trying to figure things out. As they go along that customer journey, you see them progressing and evolving as who they are. My clients come to me as solopreneurs, burnt out, frustrated, and by the time our relationship ends, they are empowered, confident CEOs. Okay. So that's how I want you to think about your own business and your own customer journey. Don't just think of it on a sales funnel. How do I get people to buy this product? Think about where your clients are and where it is that they will be going in order to be whole. And then that's how you map out your customer journey. When you know where your clients are, where they are going, it's going to be a lot easier for you to develop the right products and services that you know that your clients actually not only want, but they need it. All right. And again, if you have to create demand for a product or service, it is probably not a good product or service. The products and services that you create, that you offer in your business, they should be solving real problems for your audience. Okay. So that is a breakdown of how I create a 5-star client experience for my clients within my business, how you can do it the same. I go through the actual customer journey itself, the 5 stages: attract, engage, convert, deliver, and delight. And then at each one of those stages, I will map out what it is that my client sees, what it is that they are currently feeling when they see it, and then what it is that I want them to feel, and then what do I want them to do? What action do I want them to take at every single stage of the process? All right. So I appreciate you guys for watching this video all the way to this point. Please give this video a thumbs up if you found it valuable. If you are looking for a way to streamline and structure your own client experience, I recommend checking out my Serve Correct client management system. This gives you a done for you pre-built client portal that has 2 different templates. There's one if you do like CEO days or VIP days, and then also there's a template for client portal if you're just providing a service as a consultant or a freelancer or a coach. In addition, I give you communication scripts so you can make sure you're giving A1 superior customer service. It also includes onboarding checklists, offboarding checklists, and some other amazing resources are also tucked inside. The link will be down in the description of this video. Other than that, I just want to say, you guys, thank you so much for stopping by my internet home. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on notifications so anytime I post a video like this, you will be the first one to get notified. All right, bye, y'all.